Okay, so today we are moving on into lesson 4.8, which is all about advertising. And so the lesson objective is to identify specific forms of advertising and explain why businesses would advertise. So what is advertising? Well, advertising is any paid, non-personal form of communication by an identified company promoting goods and services. This can be presented in many different formats. So it could be like TV commercials and infomercials. It could be print advertisements. It could be direct mail. Another popular one now is through the internet, like banner ads, pop-up ads, and social media ads. And then using social media itself is another popular form of advertising. There are different types of advertising. Here is an example. The NCAA men's basketball tournaments, or March Madness, generated over $1 billion in advertising revenue this past year. And in 2015, movie studios spent $3.06 billion in advertising for films in the US alone. So that's not counting what they spent promoting in other global markets. So why advertise? What role can advertising play in helping marketers achieve their goals? Well, they create effective communication between the consumer and the company itself. It helps to create awareness. It can help to create or change an image. It also helps to associate brand with feelings and emotions. It can help to precipitate behavior. Advertising can help establish and maintain positive public perceptions, and it can also assist in the increase of sales. So when it comes to the different types of advertising, the first one we're going to talk about is print media. And print media is any written form of communication used to inform, persuade, or remind consumers about products or services offered. So that's like in a newspaper or a magazine. There's also outdoor advertising, so it's a different type of advertising, and that traditionally includes any outdoor signs, so like billboards. It offers a high level of visibility, and it provides 24-hour advertising. So, for example, right there, the elevator doors in hotels and business buildings can be used as advertising. You can see that those are elevator doors and they have the cotton bowl being advertised. There is another example of outdoor advertising. So it shows him with scruff, and then they put, I don't even know what that is for, actually. Well, that's not that good. Oh, I think the sign's just being taken up. But it shows him with shaving cream, and then afterwards, he's got a nice, fresh, clean-shaven face. All right, so another example of outdoor advertising is that in 2015, the Kansas City Royals purchased billboard space with a creative twist. The billboard displayed the team's tagline for the season, which was "Forever Royal," and an image depicting a Royals player stealing a base, running fast enough to burn the billboard. The image was so realistic that it prompted several 911 calls. So people actually legitimately thought that the billboard was on fire. Another different type of advertising is mass transit advertising. So this uses public transportation, such as buses, bus stands, taxi cabs, and subways to post advertising messages. So an example of this is the upstart Hillsboro Hops, which is a minor league team in the Portland, Oregon area, wanted to encourage fans to utilize mass transit to come to their games. And so how they did that was they chose to brand the local light rail train with the team's logo to help generate more awareness for that. Another one, which I don't actually have up, but just, to tell you, oh my gosh, okay, there we go. Another one is that Adidas and the Portland Timbers wrapped several light rail trains in branded content to promote their 2014 MLB Star Game. The Timbers also advertised inside of the train to encourage riders to use mass transit for travel to the stadium. And another type of advertising is broadcast media, and there are a few that are considered broadcast, so this is kind of an overview of other types of media, but broadcast media is any visual and or auditory form of communication that is used to inform, persuade, or remind consumers about goods or services that are offered. So a type of broadcast media then is radio advertising. So this is where advertisers match their target markets to a radio station that segments in a particular market. So this has a ability to reach a wide audience, which is why it has the appeal for some people. Another type of broadcast media then is television advertising. So this includes commercials and infomercials. It is traditionally the most expensive form of broadcast media. So here's an example of an infomercial then. The fitness craze, which is known as P90X, relied on a carefully crafted TV infomercial strategy to build a $400 million a year, and it is still growing, empire. The franchise has been so successful that they released a third installment in 2014. I actually think that there might be another one out there now. I haven't checked up on that though. So there, I think, might even be a P90X4, so pretty crazy. Because broadcast companies now spend so much in rights fees, they're forced to charge much more for television ads during those broadcasts. An example of this is Honda Assistant VP Advertising Tim Payton, whose company spends more than $600 million on U.S. television advertising annually, and sponsors the Honda Classic Golf tournaments, the Rose Bowls, the Rose Parade, and the NHL's Anaheim Ducks recently told Ad Age there has to be a point where the price of sports properties on TV, the price of tickets for consumers to games, is truly affecting the amount of sports we can engage in and the types of sports we engage in. So basically, they have to be more picky with where they're spending their money because they're spending so much of it because sports are having such a high premium. All right, so then the next one is online or digital media. So this is another type of advertising, which our next section or lesson, I should say, is all about digital media. That is one of the biggest ways to advertise in this day and age. But this is advertising through various digital media platforms. So examples of those are like banner ads, pop-ups, digital broadcasts, social media channels, and also mobile. So all of those are different types of digital media. An example of digital broadcasts, the $60 million in digital advertising sales earned by NBC through its online coverage of the London Games was 3 times what the network earned for the 2008 Games in Beijing, and sales for the 2014 Winter Games in Sochi, Sochi were slightly down from the 2012 Summer Games in London to $50 million.